Dear friends and evening, welcome to the World Muslim Community Council's online lecture series. Sorry. Can we start again? Yeah. Okay, now we start. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewers of the World Muslim Communities Council, dear friends, good evening. Welcome again to the World Muslim Community Council's the online lecture series. I hope you are well. Today, it is our honor to have a speaker from China, Dr. Wan Li. He will present his research on the early Muslim communities in China from Tang and Song dynasties, in which he discussed the Arab-Chinese communication. Dr. Wan is a renowned scholar of Islam in China and history of China-Arab relations. He is a research fellow at Henan Xinyang Normal University, and he's also the director of the Silk Road Institute in Guangdong Science and Technology College. He has done a lot of research on the topic we discussed today, the early Muslim communities in China as a historian. And he had surveyed and researched the historical record, both in Chinese and in other languages, and documented and looking into the details of trade, social, economic relations between the two civilizations, which is Chinese and Arabic civilizations. So without further ado, let's hear from Dr. Wan the presentation on the topic. Thank you so much. It seems there's some technical issues. Just let me.
give you a presentation, so I use the old PPT. Now, this is a rather long presentation, but I will select the main part that is relevant to the topic of this meeting. You see part one, history, historical background, and two, early Muslim communities, and part three, duties of a Muslim chief. And I will give a conclusion. Now, we'll see, this is overland Silk Road. This is the capital, Chang'an, during the Tang Dynasty, from the 7th to the 8th century. This is the eastern capital, Luoyang, called the two capitals, going westward. This is the overland Silk Road. And this one is a maritime routes from the Chinese coastal cities. There is the South China Sea, and then the Malacca Straits to Sri Lanka, India, and across the Indian Ocean to the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea. So, in fact, this journey is divided into two sections. One is Eastern China Sea, South China Sea, and the Malacca Strait. This is the first part. This is the first section, and then to the Indian Ocean from the straits across the Indian Ocean until one could reach the Arabian Peninsula and further. So before the 7th century, according to my research, the maritime routes were very close to the coastal line of the Asian mainland until one could reach this part, the narrowest place in South Thailand today, and from here across the land route, and then continue the journey. But after the 7th century, there was a turning point, and the travelers would not have their journeys this way. They could go directly across the South China Sea, and then to the Malacca Straits in this way. Okay. This title is the Two Empires, Abbasid Caliphate and the Tang Dynasty, the 8th century. You see overland silk and maritime silk. I put these two pictures all together so that one can compare. Now, China call it Belt and Road. Actually, they were the overland Silk Road and the maritime Silk Road. Now, the Arabic Empire, there are two important caliphates. One is the Umayyad Caliphate and the other one Abbasid Caliphate. So this is the time from after the mid-7th century until the early 13th century. That is during the Chinese Tang Song dynasties. Chinese Empire, you see, that is the Tang Dynasty from the early 7th century to the early 10th century, and then continued by the Song Dynasty until the early 12th century. This is the Song Dynasty was conquered by the Mongol Yuan Dynasty. So I'm talking about the history during this period. And in Chinese classical documents, Arabia or Arabian people, Arab people, they use the term Da Shi. This is a pronunciation today. When we read the Chinese two characters, Da Shi. But according to the ancient pronunciation, it should be Dazi or Dazik. Dazik. This term is from Turkish. And further, it originated from the Persian language, and then to Turkish language, Dazi or Dazik, then to Chinese. But today it is read popularly Dashi, but we know it is Dazik. This is a collective term covering many kingdoms and protectorate. Two important countries under the name of Dash in Chinese documents, Khwarezm and Persia. From the 7th century to the end of the Song Dynasty, there were around 500 years that the Muslim immigrants flowed into China. Earliest record is this year in Jiu Tang Shu, that is old book of the Tang. This is an official book. In the Yito day of the 8th month of 2nd year in the Yonghui reign of the Tang Dynasty, Da Shi Guo means Arabia, started to dispatch the envoy to pay tribute to the Tang court. So far, that this is what scholars discovered the earliest record of Arabia. This year is Hijra calendar, January 2nd. Gregorian calendar is September the 18th, 651. So 651 today becomes a symbol that Islam came to China. Of course, before this, there must be some people-to-people communications, but we can find no record. According to this official book, we regard this year, 651 CE, as the first year of Islam and Muslims came to China. Now, during the Tang Dynasty roughly 300 years, no more than 300 years, Umayyad Caliphate came to China to pay tribute 19 times. So I have to explain to pay tribute. This is a official usage, the term that is the dynastical compilers used, because they regarded China as a center, and the rest of the countries simply came to pay tribute. But this is their understanding. In reality, this is just an official visit. And today we may interpret it as an official visit. and the mutual beneficial and friendly communication. So this, during the Umayyad period, 19 times, plus two more times that when Umayyad Caliphate perished, we know that the survived Umayyad was in present-day West Maghreb and southern Spain. Then Umayyad came two more times after that. So 19 times plus two times, you see 21 times. Abbasid Caliphate 16 times between this period. 16 times. Song Dynasty, 49 times. So during the Song Dynasty, the paying tribute activities became more frequent, and it was average once every 4 years. Okay. So they came to China to pay the official visit with large delegations of commercial groups of businessmen. So this is such tributary activities are actually commercial exchanges. This is a Tang Iron capital. This is called the West Market. This is now present day Xi'an. Maybe some scholars visiting have been to this city. This is called the Western Market. They call it Eastern Market. Western Market is for foreigners. Foreign businessmen, and many of them were Arab and Persian merchants. This is the local resident at the time, the houses, and this is the silk. Silk and porcelain. And these two kinds of goods are the first one that the Arab and the Persian merchants would like to transfer from China to the Persian Gulf. Okay, these ancient paintings. Commercial exchange, Guangzhou as an example. Guangzhou is at the southern mouth, facing the South China Sea. So now see, in regard to the Huang-Chao rebellion in 879 CE, there are persons fully acquainted with the affairs of China, who assures us that besides the Chinese, were massacred upon this occasion. There perished 120,000 Mohammedans, Jews, Christians, and Pharisees who were there on account of traffic. There occurred a rebellion during Tang Dynasty called the Huang-Chao Rebellion. Huang-Chao was the leader. And you see, in Guangzhou city alone, 120,000 Mohammedan Jews, etc., they died. They were killed, massacred by the rebels. This came from Suleiman, ancient account of India and China. Okay, this is the one record. Now we can see the Huaisheng Mosque, remembrance of the Prophet Mosque. This is the photo by me. This is the tower, originally a tower, a sea tower, but became one part. Now today, inside the mosque's yard, this is the praying hall. This is another mosque during this period, during the Tang Dynasty, in another city, Quanzhou. Okay, this mosque was built in the second year of the Xiangfu reign of the Northern Song Dynasty. That is the 1009. Not the Tang Dynasty, this is Song Dynasty. You can imagine that such a big mosque, and inside I have visited this mosque. Inside there is a big yard, and there is a new small mosque newly built. So the Muslims here around can still use it. It is functional today, and also a relic. You can imagine the Muslim community at that time. And the other examples, for example, this is the still inscriptions, graveyard inscriptions. This is a graveyard. And you see here, this one. Still existing today. You see so many. These are Muslim cemetery. From the Tang to the Song and the succeeding Yuan dynasty. It is crowded, you see. So there were so many Muslims at that time. The majority of them were merchants from Umayyad or the Caliphate or Abbasid Caliphate to the Tang Dynasty and the Chinese Song Dynasty to do business. And sometimes they followed the official delegation. You see, official delegation during the Song Dynasty roughly once every 4 years. But the normal business affairs was conducted every day. So they have their mosque, they have their cemeteries, and they have their communities during this period. This is called the earliest Muslim community during this period. Normally, they started from the Persian Gulf or the Arabian Gulf today, across the Indian Ocean to India or Sri Lanka, and then to the Malacca Straits, and then going northward, crossing the South China Sea to arrive in Guangzhou or Quanzhou and the other coastal harbors during this period. Why so prosperous? We don't have much time, and because of two powers, many reasons. 1, 2, 3. I will save my time. I will come to next topic: early Muslim communities. And this is who the earliest term used to refer to foreigners by Chinese. During the Tang Dynasty, we were called Hu. Hu means foreign. Originally, it referred to the people, minority in the beyond the northern boundaries of the Chinese territory, and gradually it became to a common term that refer to all foreign people. For example, Hu Ke, that is alien guest. Hu Shang or Shang Hu means alien businessman or business alien people. And Wu Hu, business, merchants, foreign merchants, etc. Another term is fan. For example, fan means foreign. Fan means foreign guest. Fan means foreign people. Fan ren, foreign person. Fan guo, foreign country. Tu sheng fan ke means native born alien people. So some people they lived here in China, Chinese coastal harbors, for a very long time. Some of them maybe their whole life, and then their son and grandson. And we have a record for 5 generations, native-born alien people. So many people, so many businessmen, and they married. Some of them brought with them their families, and some married Chinese women and settled in an comparatively independent or autonomous quarter or a street or a place. This is called the fan fang, means foreign quarter. Now we have many detailed descriptions from the classical Chinese literature to describe the so-called foreigners' quarters in Guangzhou from various sources, not only the official record. You see, there is another example between these 2 years. There is a rebel or another rebellion in East China, and a military general General Tian went to Yangzhou, and he robbed the properties of local people, and those who refused were weak to submit. Several thousand of Shanghu Arabs and Persians died. So this also can give an strong evidence that not only the coastal cities, but also along the kernel from Beijing to Hangzhou kernel, inside the inner provinces, there are many Muslim immigrants too. Earning name for Muslim community was called the Fan Fang, meaning alien people's quarter. So there is a question that may be proposed when a Fan Fang, for example, in Guangzhou, this is a harbor, when the Muslim community came into being, so according to Mr. Ma Chi-cheng's research, that is as late as 830s, Muslim community came into being in Guangzhou. Maybe this is the first city that appeared the Muslim community. whether it is a community or 2 or 3 communities, we don't know. But minimum 1 community. The early name for Muslim community is still used today. Okay. Now, when Muslim community came into being, they built their mosque and they had their cemetery. And then what else? They must have their chief. Early names for Muslim chief called Zhang, called what? Fan Zhang. Well, sounds too many evidences. Fan Qiu means chief. Fan Guan means a foreigner's official. Wu Fan Guan means the general director, general leader of the Muslim community. I have a summary here. Various Chinese names are used to designate the Muslim chief during Tang and Song dynasties. This demonstrates the initial stage of recognition to Muslims by the Chinese people and by Chinese local administration. So, and they appoint the Chinese Muslim chief to preside the affairs in their own community. To some extent, it is autonomous. And I also discussed the Muslim chief's duties. And he is a religious leader. He is also a commercial leader. And he is also the administrative leader. And when his people are from different countries as a Muslim committed some mistake or crime, and he will be punished according to their traditional way, like this picture shows. But sometimes I also discuss that there is extraterritoriality was not always work. There are so-called the self-administration or self-autonomous status is not always workable because some local Chinese officials challenged their privileges, and gradually they were assimilated into the Chinese society and following the Chinese law and became Chinese Muslims. And I have many stories to give you here, but unfortunately we don't have much time. Okay, so now I have written some papers and titles of Muslim chiefs and their duties in Chinese Tang and Song dynasties. And this one, archaeology, literature, and oral heritage, and the influence of Arabic Baba, this term upon the Chinese title, and the origin of the main body of the Hui people, and the etymology and evolution of the term, etc. I have wrote a series of articles exploring the similar topics, but okay, let me have a short summary. That is, Muslim community came into being because of the commercial exchanges between the Chinese Tang and Song dynasties and the Arab, Umayyad, and Abbasid caliphates. They came from the Persian Gulf regions, across the Indian Ocean to the South China Sea, and then to the Chinese coastal cities, such as Guangzhou or Quanzhou or Yangzhou, etc. And by and by, they entered the inner provinces. They built their mosque, cemetery, and they elected their Muslim chief, and they have their autonomy. The Muslim chief was religious leader, also commercial leader, also the administrative leader. But gradually, the community emerged into the Chinese society. They still cling to their Islamic heritage. Islamic religion played a very important role for their life. So much for the, I'm in a hurry. I don't want to waste too much time. And thank you. This is my contact. If you have any more questions or other interesting topics related to this field, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you. And thank Dr. Chai. This is the end of my seminar.
Thank you, Dr. Wan. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, let me see. Thank you, Dr. Wan. Can I add this? For your excellent presentation, and you have given a history of China-Arab communication in Tang and Song dynasties, and establishment of early Muslim communities in China in several cities like Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Quanzhou. And also you presented the structure of the early Muslim communities with examples of Muslim chiefs which were appointed by the government or by themselves. So it looks like it is a proper community or social groups were established so early, and based on your research. And thus, China Muslim has a long history of coexistence and integration and even indigenization in China. So we thank you for your presentation and your research, and we hope all the audience have learned the history of this period, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Assalamu alaikum.